Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the business meeting for Norfolk Public Schools, March 20th, 2024. Ms. Tanner, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Basine,
Here.
Clanton,
Present.
Gabriel, Jordan,
Here.
Martin,
Present.
Stone,
Present.
and Buffalo.
Here. Ms. Jackson, would you please do the honors of the Pledge of Allegiance?
Good evening. We request that all cell phones and pagers to be turned off or to vibrate during the course of this meeting. Thank you. Please rise and remain standing for the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance may be seated.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt the school board business agenda?
I move that we adopt the business agenda as presented.
I second.
Up and first and seconded. Thank you, Dr. Gabriel and Dr. Martin. Any discussion? Ms. Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine,
Aye.
Clanton,
Aye.
Gabriel,
Aye.
Jordan,
Aye.
Martin,
Aye.
Stone,
Aye.
Buffalo.
Aye. We'll move on to 3.05, School Board Clerk's Report. Ms. Tanner, do you have anything to share with us tonight?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman, board members, Superintendent Dr. Birdsong, our student representative, and all of you here today. Norfolk Public Schools recognizes the month of March as Art and Music in Our Schools Month. We honor art every month with a display of artwork by our talented students in the boardroom, the hallway, and on the 11th floor. We salute every student who stretches their artistic abilities and shares it with the school board as a reflection of their love for art. And we always enjoy the melodic sounds of our talented students and our music programs across NPS. Today, Zach Rooksby has a special video to introduce our musical performance for today in honor of Music in Our Schools Month.
Good evening, Chair Moore Buffalo, Vice Chair Dr. Gabriel, school board members, Dr. Birdsong, administration, and guests. My name is Zach Rooksby, and I'm the Senior Coordinator of Music and Theater Instruction for Norfolk Public Schools. Welcome to Music in Our Schools Month. During the month of March, schools across the nation celebrate the positive benefits that music brings to public education. Here in Norfolk, music education continues to give students amazing experiences while they learn skills that not only help them be better musicians, but also college and career ready citizens and better human beings. As a highlight of this month's musical activities, hundreds of students in our middle school and high school music programs are participating in very special assessment performances. These performances give students the opportunity to perform music at a high level and to get feedback and evaluation from music education experts from across the state. For the first time in years, band, chorus, and orchestra students from all Norfolk middle school and high school programs participated in one of these events. And also, for the first time in school history, the Maury High School Music Department has been recognized by the Virginia Music Educators Association as a Blue Ribbon School. This award signifies that Maury's orchestra, band, and chorus all received the highest possible rating of superior at their prospective district assessment events. Congratulations to the students and staff of Maury High School and to all students who participated in these events across the district. As a further celebration of Music in Our Schools Month, tonight I'll be featuring select performances from these assessment events, as well as recognizing music scholars of distinction. These students are being recognized for achievements in music throughout the course of the school year. Thank you for your continued support of music education in our schools, and happy Music in Our Schools Month.
And we also recognize March as School Social Work Month. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. And you all don't know, but I can sing like that, too.
Let's hear it.
Carlos. Yeah, we're going to do a duet. Okay, so we're going to move on to 3.06, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Birdsong.
Good evening, Chair Buffalo, Vice Chair Dr. Gabriel, members of the board, members of our community, staff. Good evening again. There are a couple of things that I would like to share before we show the video, which is, again, well done this month. I would like to remind our parents and our families that we're really focusing on attendance this school year, and we have shown significant improvements since last school year. So do all that you can to get your babies on the bus every morning or in your car every morning so that they are at school every day on time. We want to see your babies every day and on time. And parents, we also have another community and families, parents and families, we have another community event coming up this weekend at Norview High School at 9 o'clock a.m., I believe. It's our parent university, and we're very, very excited to be able to put this together for our families this year. So we are really encouraging you to come out. If you have not registered, please do so this evening or tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning. So without further ado, Channel 47, please show the video.
Norfolk Public Schools partnered with the Mideastern Athletic Conference to bring outstanding opportunities to our students in March. Camp Allen Elementary received a huge party complete with a DJ for winning this year's Read with MEAC competition.
The district emphasized reading, we emphasize reading, our teachers emphasize reading, so to know that our students are hearing us and engaging in this activity daily is exciting. So that's the messaging we want, that reading contributes to their lifelong learning, that they can become productive citizens as a result of reading daily. That's what I want them to take away from it.
The next day, high school students got the full MEAC experience at their annual college fair. Students from all 5 NPS high schools traveled to Norfolk Scope to hear valuable messages from speakers and visit with different colleges and universities.
It was great. A lot of students came, had questions. Some kids already got accepted. Some kids are still trying to get accepted, trying to get scholarships. So they're asking, what do we have to offer? What kind of students we have? How big it is? Do we have the parties? Like, how is campus life? A lot of great things.
I find it very cool because it gives them, the college, time to interact with the students, and the students being able to interact with the schools. It gives them that one-on-one rather than the students looking at a computer screen and being confused about all the information.
Norfolk Public Schools held its 20th annual district-wide science fair on the campus of Old Dominion University with the theme of NPS scientists exploring new possibilities no matter what. Elementary and middle school students presented 115 projects that were carefully judged by community partners, and every school sent a student to be part of this amazing experience.
Full participation, 100% participation from every school across the division, grades 3 through 7. Wonderful, overwhelmed at the same time, but excited for our students, just knowing that they want to invest in their projects and they want to participate in this. It's just a wonderful thing.
These young scientists conducted a wide variety of experiments and enjoyed explaining their findings to attentive judges.
Which brand of paper towel is the strongest? It was fun because I got to see which one would absorb the most water. It's an experience. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I made it.
My project was about paper airplanes to see which out of 3 designs will fly the farthest distance. I think it's very cool, and this is a great thing, and it's fun and everybody should do.
It was about how fast an antacid tablet would dissolve and how does temperature affect it. I think, in my opinion, it went really well. Yeah, I have to have high confidence for this. It's a very big part of me. I feel really excited to be here and thankful.
In celebration of Black History Month, students at Lake Taylor School presented what they learned about historically Black colleges and universities to parents, community members, and NPS administrators.
So today we are having an HBCU tour. So every classroom was assigned an HBCU and the students researched it and they decorated their door and they wore the school colors and they presented information about their HBCU to our tour guests.
Throughout the tours, visitors discovered facts about nearly 40 different HBCUs from students of all ages. This event was designed not only to teach students about HBCUs, but also open their eyes to the possibility of attending one in the future.
I think this is great. I think we are giving our students an opportunity to be exposed to historically Black colleges and universities, and to just show them what the potential of their future could be, educationally, academically, socially. It's great. And to have them learn, we're also learning a lot. It's just great to see the collaboration collectively together.
I think it's really cool because I get to teach people what I learned over the past month. I want to go to a HBCU because they have many opportunities there, and I feel like it would be fun, like for places that my principals and people that work here go to, so I can go to it too.
Compass Academy at Ruffner is partnering with Eastern Virginia Medical School to teach students about the dangers of high blood pressure through their Teach BP program. Every 2 weeks, doctors and medical students from EVMS visit after school to give students hands-on lessons about how the heart works and why it's important for everyone to know their blood pressure.
Well, this is a program that we started based on some information I got from the friends at VCU MCV. It's an effort to try to bring children into the program that would help to increase the public awareness of hypertension and teach children how to measure the blood pressure of other people so that folk who may not otherwise know they have hypertension might be identified.
So this is really important so that we as kids can go to our parents and say, I think you need to get this checked out. So before this happens, because a lot of bad things can actually happen to you if it's too late and you've had high blood pressure for a long time. I think this is actually very cool, and this is a very great opportunity for me to learn new things and probably be the smartest person about blood pressure in my family.
Granby High School took the NPS School-to-School Attendance Challenge to a new level of enthusiastic participation. Their all-in approach was really fun to watch. From teachers and students dressing like each other and breaking out the shorts and sunglasses for a summer day in February, to students earning extra credit for getting to school on time every day, the Comets blazed a path for some future Comets over at Ocean View Elementary. Granby High brought a pep rally and the NPS attendance flag to the Dolphins, who then tapped Mary Calcott Elementary. The Eagles wrapped up their challenge by passing the challenge duties to Larimore Elementary, whose main lion hitched a ride from the Norfolk Police Department to take flowers and the flag over to Granby Elementary School, the home of the Bulldogs. Each month, as part of the School-to-School Attendance Challenge, NPS recognizes the schools that are leading the way in combating chronic absenteeism. Congratulations to the following schools for having the best attendance for the month of February and for earning the most improved attendance. Your school's efforts are definitely shining through.
Winter season is in the books, and some of our student athletes closed it out with a bang. Watch WNPS Channel 47 and our social media platforms for scores, highlights, and reactions. The accolades keep pouring in for Lake Taylor senior Rodney Baines. Already named Eastern District Player of the Year, now he can add Atlantic Orthopedic Specialist Student Athlete of the Month.
You know, I was excited to see the poster because I didn't know I was going to win this award. I didn't know it was an award like this, so to see that poster and see y'all coming in, it was really exciting. My teammates cheering me on. It's a really good moment.
Known as Mello, Baines has put up big numbers on the court and in the classroom.
Mello a good guy, man. He do all the right things. He worked hard. He came a long way. He was a little chubby kid. The work that he put in to be the person he is today, just so proud of him.
Lake Taylor was looking for their second boys state basketball title as they took on Northside High from Roanoke at the Siegel Center in Richmond. It was a nip and tuck affair for the first 2 quarters as the Titans were down 1 at halftime. In the third quarter, the defending champs outscored LT 28-18. That was too much to overcome as the Titans were defeated 73-58. Lake Taylor finished the season with a record of 25-2.
Staff from the Virginia Department of Education stopped by Norview High School to present them with the 2024 Virginia School Breakfast Award. This award, which was presented during National School Breakfast Week, recognized Norview's outstanding school nutrition staff for providing over 400 healthy breakfasts to students every day.
We can rely on them, whether we're watching or not, whether we're monitoring or not, to, do their very best every day to make sure that students have access to school meals, and they do it wearing costumes sometimes, and they do it with a smile every day, and they're just always thinking about ways that they can make it special for the kids. So we really appreciate them.
It feels absolutely wonderful. It's nice to be recognized. Well, I love the kids. I love the bonds that we create, and I know there's children that need the food, and it just makes me feel good when I know I'm feeding them.
Administrators surprised grateful teachers at their schools with Rockstar Awards in late February. This award recognizes exceptional teachers for perfect attendance or reaching at least 95% student participation on their STAR literacy assessments. Winners appreciated being acknowledged for their commitment to their students.
It was very exciting. I'm happy to be here every day. I worked for Norfolk for 15 years, so it's really important to me to come every day to see my students and be here for them. I think it's really important just to build that camaraderie, to build that support system, to keep everybody happy knowing that they're appreciated and they're valued here with Norfolk Public Schools.
It means a lot. Because sometimes we don't feel that appreciated, but this really was a surprise, and it's really amazing. I'm so thankful. These kids need us. And when we're not here, they miss out. And they need us. They depend on us to be here for them. And there's no other place I'd rather be.
50 students in grades 3 through 5 at Tanners Creek Elementary received brand new running shoes thanks to some special community partners. These shoes will be worn for the final mile run during the Shamrock Marathon at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Students have been training since January, and their sponsors are rewarding their hard work by also covering all the costs associated with the race.
You know what, we have 18 Title I schools that we do this with the help of our community partners. And it puts all the craziness that we do really into perspective, because this is really giving back to the community. It's our youth, the kids love it, and it just makes everything worthwhile.
We just love the kids, and we love running. We have a whole bunch of runners at our firm. We've run all the J&A races. J&A does a great job of supporting this community, and they asked, and we gladly jumped on the boat.
I can't even describe and put into words what it was like. They were excited. They were so curious about everybody else's shoes, curious about putting on their own and seeing how they fit. And I had a couple kids come up to me as I was talking to Mr. Jeff, our sponsor, and they're like, "Can we go run now?" So they were really excited to get out there and try them out.
I don't know what to say because it feels so great. You feel super excited to run. Let's say thank you, and I wish you have a great day. And I'm really thankful for you to give me these shoes.
Norview High School held a family engagement night, celebrating the many cultures of the students that attend the school. After special performances by Norview's marching band and their award-winning NJROTC, students and families were invited to visit nearly 50 tables located around the Commons area. Attendees enjoyed a wide variety of activities and received valuable information made available at this unique event.
This is a great turnout, being the first
multicultural family engagement night. I think it's important that we not only learn together, but we work together, we play together, and get to understand each other and our cultures better. So this is a great way to do that outside of the school environment. And it's building relationships between the school administrators and the parents and students, and so it's a wonderful opportunity.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I think it was a great culture here as far as the activities and the programs that are offered, very informative. I think it's good for engagement for parents just that are involved in their children's welfare and activities. I like the environment. I do. I like the environment and the options. So, great.
For more stories and information about what's happening in Norfolk Public Schools, visit the NPS homepage and click on the YouTube link.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Good job. Thank you, Dr. Birdsong. We're going to move on to 3.07, Citizens' Comments. Ms. Tanner.
Chairman Buffalo, for today's Citizens' Comments, we have 8 speakers. Today's speakers signed up for public comments before the start of today's business meeting. If you would like to provide public comments, you're required to state the agenda items or topic you are addressing prior to providing your comments at this meeting. When your name is called, please come forward to the speaker's podium, state your name and whether you have a child in Norfolk Public Schools or if you're employed by the district, and state your agenda items. One person is to speak at a time. If you're representing a group, state your group's name. You may ask your group members to stand in place to be recognized. Speaking time is limited to 3 minutes. A timer is set with an alarm that will signify the end of your speaking time. State your position and give relevant data or facts. Avoid saying anything that identifies students or personnel information about individual employees. Personnel, disciplinary, and confidential matters may be addressed to the school board directly via email at schoolboard@npsk12.com. Comments should be addressed to the board and not addressed to an individual member. School board members do not respond to public comments or comments at this time. They are given. Any written statements or supporting materials should be given to the clerk. So Chairwoman Buffalo, our first speaker for today is Liz Albert, followed by Charlotte Smith-Worley.
Welcome. You can stop.
Chairman Buffalo, Vice Chair Gabriel, school board members, and Dr. Birdsong. My name is Liz Albert, and I don't have children in the school system, but I'm a Norfolk taxpayer. I'll be discussing CIP budget tonight as well as the school board itself. Recently, Mayor Kenneth Alexander spoke to our Civic League. He alluded to the days when there was an appointed school board, indicating that this political system seemed to work better than an elected school board. Over the years, I have been a proponent of an elected school board because I felt an elected board would be more likely to advocate for reasonable funding. That didn't happen last budget year. And for years, my Civic League has advocated for more capital improvement monies for schools, while the school board has remained silent. This lack of action is disappointing, to say the least. Unfortunately, after watching this school board at work, I am beginning to wonder if Mayor Alexander isn't right. Perhaps appointing members who would work as a team to improve schools would be better than what we have now, a splintered school board that is rudderless. At your retreat, Mrs. Stone, the newest board member, shared a visual of people in a boat rowing as an example of teamwork. Her implied message was the school board should be an effective team working together for children. Sadly, teamwork is not a hallmark of this board. It is the hallmark of a splinter group that violated the Freedom of Information Act when they attended a conference and discussed, as a group, business with an NPS consultant. Mr. Cloud, I personally would like to know what is being done to ensure this won't happen again. School board members, your citizens are tired of conversations about norms, protocols, non-negotiables, and governance that are typically used to slow down action. Your conversations are like Groundhog Day to us. The same topics come up over and over again. We are also tired of seeing Mr. Jordan and Mrs. Bassine take aim at the superintendent when they should be working alongside her to improve Norfolk public education. Dr. Birdsong made it quite apparent at the retreat that she feels she cannot please you no matter what she does. This is a school system that, until Dr. Birdsong, had experienced 6 superintendents over a 10-year period. This superintendent has led a highly challenged school system through a devastating pandemic. We need the stability she offers. The children of Norfolk deserve it. I conclude my remarks by asking you as a group to enter into serious self-examination. Your students and your community need you to do better than you are doing now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charlotte Smith Worley, followed by Lisa Walker.
Good evening, Chairman Buffalo, Vice Chair Gabriel, school board members, and Dr. Birdsong. My name is Charlotte Smith Worley. I do not have children in the school system, but I am a Norfolk taxpayer. I am here tonight to ask the school board to adopt a budget that includes the superintendent's recommendation to embark upon a feasibility study of the possibility of transforming Lake Taylor High School into a comprehensive career and technical high school operating under a public charter. Tonight, I anticipate there may be a move on the part of some members to take the Lake Taylor recommendation out of the budget. The argument might be that be more reflective and instructive pace should be considered rather than rushing to action. Rushing to action? I have this to say about that. A feasibility study provides a structured approach for necessary examining and reflection. This issue has already been discussed by the board. A study was done in 2013 that indicated Lake Taylor the optimum site. In March of 2015, the school board adopted a resolution supporting continued planning for a full-time CTE school. And again, in September of 2019, this resolution was brought to the school board again for affirmation. Regrettably, for some unknown reason, the school board has yet to take decisive action on this issue. It appears political interests have delayed this process significantly at the cost of our children. A move to consider Booker T. Washington High School as the site seemed designed to pull the plug on Lake Taylor. Booker T. Washington's site is too constrained, while Lake Taylor has the necessary acreage to accommodate a state-of-the-art facility and remains the recommended site. A feasibility study is the vehicle that should enable the school division to make a decision once and for all. According to research, high school students in CTE programs are more likely to graduate on time, significantly higher than the national average. To continue to delay the plans to bring CTE to Norfolk at an optimum level is failing students, pure and simple, students across the city of Norfolk and the region. Let me appeal to the majority of the school board. Bypass the politics and get into the Nike mode. In other words, just do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Lisa Walker, followed by Collie Bale.
Good evening to all members of the school board and our superintendent. As stated, my name is Lisa Walker, and I have worked with NPS for 29 years. 24 of those years have been at Southside STEM Academy at Camp Estella. My current position is the reading specialist. Our superintendent presented the best budget that I have ever heard in all of my years at NPS. She listened to all the recommendations of the teachers, staff, and students to address our most pressing concerns of compensation, teaching, and learning. Additionally, she responded to all the board goals and provided an innovative approach to all the pressing concerns of student excellence, workforce, resources, community, safety, and climate. Moreover, she rolled in the recommendations from the consultant who has been telling the board for the last 10+ years we have a decline in enrollment with no end in sight, and the millions of dollars that have been poured into a crumbling infrastructure that cannot be sustained. Dr. Birdsong even added the latest research to explain the critical teacher shortage as a reminder of how crucial it was to right-size the district. To add the cherry on top, she provided a plan for the CTE component that at least one of you mentioned every week. Then the unthinkable happened. The word blindsided was used in context with the proposed budget. Where exactly have you been? I simply could not scream at the screen loud enough. I watched meeting after meeting where Dr. Pohl presents the data based on your interim measures, and no matter what is provided, the word cohort is used repeatedly, provide more clarity, add a color, too much data, or the random what about this is thrown into the discussion. Didn't you create the goals and the measures? Then, when it's about time for a decision to be made, the board requests a study or an audit. I'm finally realizing that this is a stall tactic that became crystal clear to me when Coronata is still being addressed in the current budget. It is shameful that you tout the catchphrase, equity and excellence for all, and then you do nothing. We are told no matter what, when this board only uses some educational lingo like the word equity to seem engaged and then completely ignore the recommendations the educational consultant gives you year after year. I can even go back to Campus Stella and Dijon Richter stating that our community did not need a K-8 model. However, the smoke and mirrors began. Southside STEM Academy will have a lottery school. Our first year was around 30 students. Subsequently, our middle schoolers would be able to opt out, choose a traditional middle school model, et cetera, et cetera. They were all lies. We got a motivational speech, a tote bag, and then boom, we were a STEM Academy. More training and positions have been added, but that does not negate the 24 years that I've been there. We've had 8 different leaders. That's roughly a 3-year average for each of our leaders. The fact that our district has many students who don't have a certified teacher in front of them is a travesty. I will leave you an article that I found, and it's entitled 5 Practices for Equity-Focused School Leadership, that speaks to the concept that innovation is not an adjective for sparkly conversation, but a verb that requires succinct action.
Thank you for your comments.
Next, we have Callie Bell, followed by Janet Montgomery.
I'm in 9th grade. I am a former. My parents decided to homeschool me a year ago. There are numerous reasons why, but since I only have a few minutes, here are just a few of them. While I was in class, students were mocking the teachers, calling them slurs, and writing awful things about them on the walls. In the cafeteria, fights broke out while the security guards watched and did nothing. In the bathrooms, people ditched class and vaped, the smell often making me nauseous. On the news, I heard about all kinds of shooting and bomb threats in practically every school near me, including my own. A 6th grader once brought a gun into our school, and no one, including the parents, heard about it until after everyone had gone home. And even now, almost every time we meet, my closest friend tells me about the water leaks, holes in the walls and ceiling, and a stairwell so destroyed nobody can even use it. Our teachers disrespected and ignored, our students angry and confused, and our buildings falling to pieces. All I see is a broken system with no chance to learn or grow. I've never been more proud to be homeschooled.
Next, we have Janet Montgomery, followed by Jada Johnson. Jada.
Hello and good evening. My name is Janet Montgomery. I'm 15 years old. I am now a freshman at Maury High School. It pains me to say that the conditions within NPS have not improved since my last visit. In fact, the state of this district has drastically declined and at this point in time shows no signs of improvement. The problems I faced at Rosemont have only been amplified following my graduation. While my middle school suffered from old age, Maury could be considered ancient by comparison. The building was constructed in 1910, making it the oldest high school in this district, and the building wears its immense age on its sleeve. Water damage has riddled the school with holes, cracks, and debris at every turn. These are the walls that we have to walk past every day. How are students supposed to feel pride for a school that clearly holds no respect for itself or the students inside of it? If adolescents are expected to attend school regularly, the least this district can do is provide a safe, clean environment for them to do so. It is also no secret that Maury is riddled with violence, much like the rest of America. Recounting the innumerable incidents I've witnessed since my enrollment would take up a sickening amount of time, but fights have become the norm. Not a day passes without news of some altercation taking place. I've had teachers be forced to leave their classes unattended to help guards break up fights within the halls, interrupting our lessons and setting the room into a state of panic. The stabbings that occur on school ground, the stabbing that occurred at Maury High School is, and should still be fresh in everyone's minds. I find it absolutely ludicrous that I am expected to learn while fearing for my life. I can't bring myself to write essays in English when I'm more anxious about who's going to write my obituary. I can't bring myself to crunch numbers in algebra when I'm worried about the cost of my own funeral. I have tried my absolute best to be forgiving, but my patience has run thin due to your inaction. It is far from my intention to disrespect you. I don't know your true thoughts about the issues parents, students, and teachers of light have repeatedly brought to your attention, but from my perspective, the school board oozes apathy and incompetence. I implore you, just for a moment, to truly take a look at the state Norfolk Public Schools is in. Visit these schools. See for yourself the conditions we are subjected to day in and day out. Make a real, visible effort that lets us know you care. As common as this line is, youth are the future. Your lack of care for myself and my peers shows me that you hold no hope for my future. In turn, I hold no hope for you continuing to hold your positions. Thank you.
Thank you. Jada Johnson, followed by Anthony Daniels.
Hello, my name is Jada. I am a 5th grade student. I attend Ghent School. I have maintained honor roll all quarters ever since I've been in school. I'm a cheerleader, and most importantly, I am a child of God. I'm writing to you about the effects of bullying. I was recently given ISS in October. I was given ISS because I had to step out of character to stand up for myself. I was a victim of bullying. The bully would come for me for the way I looked, criticizing me, and would even put their hands on me. So I felt my cries weren't being heard, and one day I had to step out of character to defend myself. As consequence, I was given ISS. And with that being said, when is it going to end? Young people all over are committing suicide, going into a depression, and not going to school because of bullying. Yes, schools are putting up reminders not to bully and to be kind, but the kids aren't listening to that. So what do you think about and my bully has learned to never put his hands on me again. So what do you think about the situation? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Daniels, followed by Joshua Moore Daniels.
Good evening, school board members, Superintendent Sharon Birdsong, Ms. Jordan, Tiffany. My name is Anthony Daniels. I am the director of a youth organization, CLEAN, and as you can see, those students and adults are in our program. I would like for you to very carefully listen to these youth. Last year, we came down here with the same response, the same situations, the same problems. As I've been listening to these youth, it seems nothing is being done about it. So I urge you tonight to please get back in touch with them. I have my business card. Please, I want one of you all to take it. Let them know that you are listening to them. Let them know that you care, because they feel like their words and their care is falling on deaf ears. You're not hearing them. So please, if you don't do anything else, please send a letter or email back to us, to me, and I will forward it to them. And matter of fact, their information is on that sign-in sheet. Let them know that you acknowledge them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joshua Moore Daniels.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Moore Daniels. I attend at Blair Middle School. I am here to talk about the struggles and the hardships in my school. About 4 weeks ago, it was a fight in the classroom. 2 girls, the teacher stepped in to break it up, but she was pregnant. She wound up getting hurt, bruises and scratches, and she had wound up going to the hospital, but she's okay now. And the ceilings was broke, caved in, and water was coming through there. And another topic I want to talk about is the school bus. it be fights in the school bus. And one time I saw a cigarette on the floor in the bus, and then people instigate fights to say meet me outside, and it has continuously been said that multiple times, and that stuff be happening in the bathroom. People smoke vapes, and all that bad stuff in the bathroom. I was confused because I didn't know what to do about that fight. Should I help or should I sit down?
Thank you.
Chairman Buffalo, that's our last speakers for this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. We're going to move on to 3.08, approval of the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Have a second?
Second.
I heard two people.
Martin and Clanton.
Second.
Second by Ms. Stone.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Okay.
I just had one question. On the use of facilities report, there's a rental request for Ruffner, Ruffner Middle School, Ruffner Academy. I couldn't tell what the fee was for the use. Does the fee come later on the document? Anyone know?
No.
There's an application. Yeah, there's a lease for the facility, and I know the duration, but I just couldn't tell what the fee is.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. That is an extension of an agreement that was approved, I believe it was last fall, and so they are extending under the same terms. So we did not include the original in there. We can provide that.
I'll look it up. If you said it was earlier, I'll look it up.
It was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Dr. Gabriel?
Thank you, Chairman Buffalo. My question or comment is really towards our school board calendar. We have a very ambitious calendar, as many of you all will see here, especially during the summertime. A total of 5 meetings there. We aim to get great work done. However, I also am very cognizant of how much work it takes for the administration to prepare, especially for the school year. So I would just ask my colleagues that as we go through our meetings and we see that we might be able to condense, consolidate, or maybe get ahead of the game and we're able to maybe combine a few of the meetings, I think that would be in the spirit of collaborative, genuine collaboration. I think that would be well-meaning. Of course, we want to get the work done, but that's just something that I want to propose to my colleagues here as we look at the school board calendar.
Okay. Anyone else? Ms. Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine?
Aye.
Clanton?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Nay.
Jordan?
Aye.
Martin?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
Buffalo?
Aye. We'll move on to 5.01, monthly financial report. Dr. Birdsong.
Good evening. CFO Spivey will join us at the podium and will provide an update.
Good evening, Chair Buffalo, Vice Chair Gabriel, Dr. Birdsong. I'm happy to provide the February 2024 financial report. This report covers 8 months of fiscal year 2023, July through February, for transactions that were recorded as of March 13th of 2024. As shown on the financial highlights revenue slide in front of you, for the first 8 months, the revenues have totaled $246.7 million, which is 61.8% of the $399 million general fund budget. Collections during this same period for the previous 2 years ranged between 59.1% and 60.8%. On the next page, which is the revenue and expenditure chart, it shows that by the end of February, we spent or encumbered $243.8 million, which is 61.8% of the $399 million budget. During the previous 2 years, spending at this point ranged from 55.5% to 56.3%. Spending is ahead of the previous 2 years, with the most significant increases being in employee compensation and benefits. Those increases are primarily related to significant compensation increases for fiscal '24, as well as the one-time bonus that we gave in the first half of the year. Other areas include insurance, just the way our insurance policy was set up. Only half a year was due in fiscal '23, and a full year is due in '24. That will continue now to have a full year, and each year it was just some timing. So for this year, insurance is twice as much as it was in fiscal '23. And the other significant increase we are seeing is tuition charges, CSEP tuition charges for our children who receive those services. On the next page, shows our revenues and expenditures, trends for the 8-month period, and also shows 2 previous years so that you can see where they stand. There's additional information in the following sheets that provide more detail, and I will take any questions you may have on this report.
Board members, you heard the report. Does anyone have any questions? Ms. Basine.
Thank you, Ms. Spivey, for your presentation. I'm sure you probably haven't had a chance to see, I had sent a question yesterday about which, I'm not sure if you received that, but it is, if I could share it with you now, that would be, and I completely understand if you need to get back with me about, with an answer. But my question was around the schedule of revenue and expenditures for the general fund. So I was, just comparing where we are this year compared to last year. And in terms of the excess, that was the revenue in excess of expenditures and encumbrances. This year we're at around 2.9 million, and last year we were at 20 million. And I was wondering if you could shed some light on the differences, because one of my thoughts was that one of the biggest reasons that was driving that excess was the teacher vacancies, if I'm not mistaken. And seeing that we have, similar, slightly greater teacher vacancies this year, or staff vacancies, I just wanted a better understanding of what is driving that difference.
I can answer your question in general terms.
Okay.
The fiscal '24 budget was budgeted tighter than the fiscal '23, where we did have significant funding, and meaning that we're utilizing our revenues this year. So in a number of ways, with salaries being budgeted, we look at those, we know how many positions we have, how many we want to fill, and we're doing a much more concerted effort, which has continued on into this year, to to budget more in line with our expected spending.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Jordan?
Not a question, but I just want to say thank you to Ms. Spivey for that response. I appreciate that. Goes to one of the questions I had about the budget process as well. So it's good to hear that there's tightening and which may result in smaller fund balances, but more importantly, better estimates in terms of what our needs are. So thank you. And Dr. Birdsong, of course.
Anyone else? All right, may I have a motion to approve the monthly financial report?
I move to approve the monthly financial report.
I second that. Okay, any other discussion? All right, Ms. Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine?
Aye.
Planton?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
Martin?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
And Buffalo.
Aye. We move on to 5.02, NPS financial audit for school year, 2023. Dr. Birdsong.
Again, CFO Spivey will provide an update for you. The last time we had a business meeting, there was some concern about the date of the report, and upon investigating that matter, it appeared that there was just a simple mistake and Ms. Spivey said that she just uploaded the wrong document. And so I think we need to give her some grace with that. And so any other questions, I'm sure she's happy to answer at this time.
All right. Board members, you've heard information around the annual comprehensive financial report.
Madam Chair, I move for the adoption of the comprehensive financial audit.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, if I may, as the maker of the motion. Ms. Spivey, thank you. I do want to point out that the reason why we deferred this is that this is an official document. It is, every time that we take the financial report, it is subject to audit. When we get to that particular document, it is it. So making sure that it's accurate, and we appreciate and understanding new and that could be, but it was the best thing for the board to do, to defer, make sure we got it right, so that when we vote on it, there's no question about it. So I do appreciate you, and again, welcome. But that's why we do that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Jordan?
Yeah, so there were some questions I had asked about related to the transfer of funds from the district accounts into the city treasurer's accounts. Are you able to speak to those or address those questions? Or do you need me to ask them again?
Your question's related to.
Yeah, so there was, I'm trying to find the page again, but there was a
24.
Page 24.
Yeah, page 24.
There's on page 24, there's a bullet at the bottom of the page that describes the transfer of, $38 million. And I was trying to get some clarity around, there's a statement in there that the school board did not physically return unused funds to the city. So I just wanted to get an understanding again of how that amount came about. And then I understand that it mentions in the same bullet, there's some actions that have been taken, but I just wanted to, again, just get an understanding of the role that the board plays in terms of addressing fund transfers when we're dealing with these unexpended funds.
Okay, yes, sir, I will do my best to answer those questions. And that page of the annual comprehensive financial report was expanded to provide more information on this. So we did have the $38 million of revenues that exceeded expenditures for fiscal '23. The Code of Virginia, it's Chapter 8, Title 22.1, states that, read it, any unexpended school and educational funds states that all sums derived from local funds expended in any year shall remain a part of the funds of the governing body appropriating the funds for the next year. So, so all unexpended funds that came from local funds remain the city of Norfolk's funds. And that is, you know, even if they have, even if the treasurer, who's the fiscal agent for both, has transferred the funds into our bank account, they still remain the city of Norfolk's funds. So we did have that, we had that situation this year. During that the fiscal year, Mr. Cloud brought to the finance office's attention that we had been holding those funds, that even though they were city funds, they had continued to stay in the Norfolk Public Schools accounts. And Mr. Cloud had recommended that the two finance groups get together and talk about how to rectify that situation. That meeting did happen. We acknowledge that this is the Virginia Code. The Virginia Code doesn't speak at all to reappropriating those funds. I mean, it does speak to them. It says the governing body can reappropriate those funds. That is the city of Norfolk. And I think the only limitation that the code gives is that the funds can't be reappropriated outside of the district. So, so that's what the Virginia Code says as I read it and understand it. So then we go to the City of Norfolk's revenue sharing policy. That policy has, it references the Code of Virginia, Title 22.1, and in addition to that, it says that within their policy that the school board can request that these funds, that all of these funds, be reappropriated, so that is what it seems that we have done in the past. We intend to do another agenda item for tonight. Now and in the future, if the situation occurs, the difference is that there is an acknowledgement, and this year actually a removal of the funds out of Norfolk Public Schools accounts into the city's accounts. And regardless of which bank account those were held in, once we ended the year and the funds were unspent, they became the City of Norfolk's funds and will remain the City of Norfolk's funds unless and until a reappropriation is requested and they reappropriate those to us.
Just a couple more. So the timing, because I've been trying to figure this out for some time. So the timing of, I guess, going forward, what's the timing typically that you would estimate that the board would have a sense of, if we do have those unused funds, when we would most likely be aware of it?
Okay, and I kind of walk you through our preparation, our year-end preparation process, which I think is the best way to answer that question. So the fiscal year ends June 30.
Cut it off.
When the
Getting this 3-minute warning.
Silence your phones.
Forgive my grandson for FaceTime. He's more intelligent than I am.
Thank you. I have one too. And, so even though the fiscal year ends June 30th, all the bills haven't been paid. And there's also revenues that we've requested that haven't come into us. And so we have what I refer to as the 45-day accrual period. So that gets us to mid-August because, for instance, services that we receive in June from a contractor or other vendor are likely not going to be billed to us until July. And sometimes it's the end of July. So we have to process those, and we really are under a timeline between when those invoices come in and when we get them completely processed. But by mid-August, it is our goal to have everything processed. There can be some things that we miss. So so between mid-August and when the audit is complete, which is we just met with the city of Norfolk staff this past week to discuss the timing, and that probably will be somewhere between early October and the end of November. At that point, there's no opinion on the financial states, but they've significantly been drafted. So we will not know for sure until the auditors have completed their audit and have presented an opinion. Have an opinion on that, but we get closer to knowing around that end of December timeframe.
And then last question, the documents also mentions that this is something we've done historically. Do you know how long that's been? In recent, I have not found that we did anything different than we did before this past year in recent years. It would take some more research to know for sure if it's important enough to know. But we know in recent years it's been handled the way that Mr. Cloud pointed out to us. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Ms. Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine?
Aye.
Clanton?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
Martin?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
And Buffalo.
Aye. We're going to move on to 5.03, Superintendent's Proposed Operating Budget for Fiscal Year 25. Dr. Birdsong. Oh, Ms. Spivey.
Okay. All right. So this is an important and for me an exciting night, and I'll walk down the information that's in your packet and in the order in which it's there. So the first item is the appropriation of unassigned fund balance and city revenue sharing. As we just discussed, on June 30 of 2023, the unassigned fund balance was $32,970,830, and this balance was derived from budgetary savings during the fiscal year 23. A provision in the City of Norfolk's revenue allocation policy permits the school board to request reappropriation of all reversion funds, including end-of-year funds that were returned to the city's general fund balance, and any excess true-up revenue. The policy recommends that such appropriations be used to address the non-recurring expenditures. The administration recommends using the unassigned fund balances in the fiscal 24-25 budget as listed on this item in front of you. That does total to the full $32.9 million. In addition to that, if we can slide down that document to the last paragraph, in addition to the remaining funds during the fiscal year 23, the City of Norfolk collected more revenue during that year than it budgeted or included in the revenue sharing estimates that determined the city's funding for the schools. And I would just say that at the same time that we're doing our audit, our financial statements that I just described, the city's doing theirs. And so the thing that can either benefit us or not benefit us is if they underestimated expenditures, the revenue policy says that we get our percentage of that overestimation. Of course, the downside is if they ever, overestimate expenditures, there would be a true up in the other direction. Fortunately for this year, they underestimated expenditures, and based on the revenue sharing policy, an additional $7,321,689 will be coming to Norfolk Public Schools. So we are, the couple of resolutions that I'll speak to next include that $7.3 million as well. Our recommendation that the full true-up amount, which is the $7.3 million, go towards our CIP. To address capital improvement needs for fiscal 2025. The next documents in the package, one of them is the true-up resolution. This is a resolution that would be from to City Council from the Norfolk Public School Board to appropriate this true-up money to Norfolk Public Schools. The next document is the reversion resolution. This is the resolution where the school board would be asking the city to appropriate the unspent funds from fiscal 23. And then the last item in this is the consideration of approving the superintendent's proposed operating and capital budget. If I've given you enough information to begin the discussion,
you have, Ms. Bobby. We appreciate that, breaking all that down for us. Well, board members, you have, as she stated, 2 resolutions in your packet, true-up funds and reversion funds, and also the FY 2024-2025 proposed operating and capital budgets. The board is going to vote on them separately. So if I could have a motion to approve the true-up resolution in the amount of $7.3 million.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the resolution approving request of City Council for the appropriation of $7.3 million in excess of city revenue allocated to the School Board of the City of Norfolk.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a statement. This is where I have to make my statement.
Yes, Ms. Stone.
So everything is on the up and up. I just have to be sure that I state that today we are discussing the budget and ultimately casting our votes on the budget as a whole and as other portions, just such as the true-up here as we're discussing right now, for fiscal year of 2025. I have to acknowledge that I have a personal interest in the outcome of this process, as I'm the spouse of a school board employee whose compensation may increase as a result of the superintendent's proposed budget. This is an interest that I share with thousands of other NPS employees and their families, and therefore any comment that I make or vote that I ultimately cast does not merely profit my own family alone. As I share this public interest in the passing of this budget, I am able to participate in this transaction fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. A version of this statement has been logged with the clerk, so if anyone would like it, they can request it, and this will be in the minutes as well. Now I am legally compliant.
And you memorized all that?
Oh, it's written right here for me.
Oh.
She will.
Wow.
It will be at some point.
Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, just a point of clarity. So I understand the recommendation around the true up and the $7 million there. And then I know in the memo that Ms. Spivey was describing, there's the recommendation around using the true up for CIP. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I guess just going back to the two things together, since they're presented together. One of the things that I often hear, and this is just trying to get some understanding and feedback. Well, I guess my first question is around the newly adopted textbooks that are being considered. Do you know, are those the?
I don't, respectfully, your question is out of order because that's on the reversion. Once when we get to that one, you can talk about that one.
Well,
that was just a memo, but we're voting on the resolution.
I understand, but the reason why I'm asking the question,
okay, go ahead,
is that if I'm understanding how the two have been linked together is, or maybe I'll ask the question. So if adjustments were made to the unassigned fund balance, would that have any impact on the recommendation around the true up?
I think I can, I'll try to tackle that. And Ms. Spivey, please, because I may mess it up a little bit, but it is our intention or our recommendation to you that we fully utilize the true-up for capital improvements, deferred maintenance within the school division, the full amount.
Okay. And so well, I'll come back. I'm fine. I'll ask it for the next one.
Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine?
Aye.
Clanton?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
Martin?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
And Buffalo.
Aye. We're going to move on to the resolution in regards to the reappropriation of $32.97.
You got it.
Yes.
I got it.
Million.
Madam Chair, I'll go ahead and make your motion for you.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Appreciate
Thank you.
I move that we adopt a resolution approving a request of the City Council for the reappropriation of $32.97 million in reversion funds to the School Board of the City of Norfolk.
And Dr. Gabriel, second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'll ask my questions now.
Okay, Mr. Jordan.
So, what I was going to mention before is one of the some of the feedback that I often hear from constituents is around field trips and resources like that to support the needs of students, giving them more exposure. The funds that are available here, are supporting field trips, for example, something that could be supported. Along with that, for the past year or so, we've had the benefit of receiving quarterly reports on donations to the school system. A lot of those donations are tied to requests that teachers make using Donors Choose or other resources. I remember from some of the past reports, there's been requests around instructional supplies and those types of things. Can you describe how if there's an opportunity to, or maybe describe how the process works that we will, at least I often see on Donors Choose and others, request around instructional supplies, equipment for students in the classroom, different innovations that teachers like to do in the classroom. How are those things reviewed and considered when we have opportunities to use one-time funds like this?
I'm happy to start with that. We do not deny any child an opportunity to participate in a field experience just because of the lack of financial resources. That information is typically taken care of at the school level. I know many of our schools, if not all of our schools, have community partners. If they choose to donate, and there are strategies utilized at the building level, I know, to support that. But specifically for this budget, there's not, we have outlined every expenditure that we plan to move forward with if approved by the board. So field trips is not one, it's not listed here. Doesn't mean that it's not important. There are a million things that we could have noted here. But these are the things that we chose to move forward with. But I think most importantly, you know, it's important for our community to understand that we don't deny children an opportunity to participate based on their inability to pay. And Dr. Kimsey, if you would, I don't know what to add to that. I just know as a former building principal, that was just, it was not an option. We always found a way to provide for field trips for children that couldn't pay. I mean, just period.
Absolutely. So we always ensure every time the field trip request comes forward from a school, we ensure that no matter a student's ability to pay, there are provisions for those students to be able to attend even if they can't pay a cent. Schools are very resourceful. They do have community partners. They hold fundraisers. They do all kinds of things to support their students with those field experiences and the ones that are tied to extracurricular activities. And I will point out, in Dr. Birdsong's budget, under the general operating funds, are funds that are used for some field trips directly related to instructional activities. So those co-curricular learning experiences, those trips are covered in that budget proposal.
If I can just follow up on that, I wasn't so much thinking about, and I'm glad you all mentioned it, about students being denied attending because of the ability to pay. I was more so just using that as an example of, would there be an opportunity for us to expand the reach of experiences that we could provide for children if indeed these types of funds could support that. That was what I was just trying to get an understanding of.
So right now, building principals, teachers, curriculum leaders really vet our experiences and our field experiences to ensure they are supporting the learning in the classroom. We have to prioritize, obviously, literacy is one of the big things. And so when we look at how to spend our money and how to determine which field experiences are most relevant to support the classroom instruction level, those decisions are made in partnership with coordinators for the different content areas and with principals, executive directors. So, Mr. Jordan, I would say we have what we need to do what we need to do to ensure our students receive the most outstanding education that they deserve.
Thank you. My next question, with the one-time retention bonus for eligible employees, can you describe how that bonus works or will work, please?
Sure. So let me think back. It's been a couple of weeks. So when I presented my proposal to the board and to the community, I noted that we were recommending a $3,000 retention bonus for eligible employees. So again, that would be December, Mr. Jordan. We would provide, if recommended, not recommended, if approved by the board, we would provide a $1,500 bonus to employees in December, and then another one in, I believe we said it was April or May, right before school ends, another $1,500 bonus if those employees who were eligible for the bonus are still employed by Norfolk Public Schools. And so we also decided that we would pay the taxes that are associated with that bonus so that employees could actually realize a full $3,000.
And the eligible employees are just all employees who are employed in the district at that time period?
We would use the same strategy that we currently have in place for all other bonuses, which means full-time employees, and there were some exceptions, and we have listed all of those out. I don't have them memorized. For example, long-term substitute teachers were included, part-time bus drivers, I believe, were also included, but the majority of the staff receiving those bonuses would be full-time contracted employees.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm
I'm
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. No.
Ms. Basine?
If Mr. Clanton's hand was up first, it's fine. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to, Dr. Birdsong mentioned something, and I just wanted to make sure I got the clarity on the difference between a long-term sub and a sub that just maybe is at a continuous school. Is there like a different contract or something?
There is. Yes, there certainly is. So for long-term substitute teachers, those are the teachers that are assigned a long-term assignment within a school. They're not, I'm going to work Monday, then I'll take the rest of the week off, then next week I may work a Tuesday. So there's a difference with assignments and also responsibilities. For example, long-term substitute teachers are required to engage in a lesson planning process, which is very rigorous and it takes time. And so we certainly, their memorandum of understanding accounts for that within their compensation. So there is a difference between being a daily sub and a long-term substitute teacher.
Thank you, Dr. Birdsong.
Ms. Basine?
Thank you, and thank you for itemizing these items here. I have a couple of questions. So since we were just talking about the one-time retention bonus, just one clarifying point. Are nurses included in that? I'm trying to remember if...
All full-time contracted employees would include our school nurses.
Would include the school nurses, okay. Thank you. And so my next questions are around, so for those, just for a better understanding on the retention bonus, so for those schools that you have identified, through the IGNITE program and through the Equity and Excellence Learning Centers where there is some differentiated pay increase, the teachers there would get that pay increase plus the retention bonus, is that?
That is correct.
That is correct, okay. All right, just wanted to verify that. And my next question is around, so these are largely supposed to be non-recurring expenses, correct? And so with the IGNITE program, I know we're watching and monitoring what kind of impact that has in the future. There's a potential to expand it in future years if needed, as well as the Equity and Learning Centers. So in the future, those are items that could be then put into the operating budget if these are items that we were to continue to implement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. All right. And the Equity and Excellence Learning Centers. So right now, can you speak a little more about the staffing for that?
Probably not the best person to.
Okay.
So I'm going to start, and then Dr. White, if you don't mind joining us at the podium. So as it relates to the staffing, we would like for the teachers that are currently assigned to the school. Certainly, we want to retain those hardworking, highly qualified, effective teachers, and we also want to recruit other teachers from across the division, outside of the division, from wherever we can secure them. And so, of course, we want to secure the teachers that are there and again, recruit those who are not there. When you talk about staffing specifically, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yes, and thank you for asking that question. I actually want to specify. So I think at the retreat, I had asked specifically about some of the wraparound services and the additional social workers and I'm not looking at the page in front of me, but some of the mental health supports that are being added that, if I recall correctly, aren't necessarily being positioned at those learning centers. Am I remembering that correctly?
You are remembering that. They would be a division-wide resource.
Okay.
Not specifically assigned to any building.
Okay. All right. So I would just like a better understanding of the, because this is, like I said, it's a great innovative initiative that, I think could have an enormous impact. And I just want to, I think the wraparound services are crucial. And, the social emotional supports are crucial. And I know we all agree on that. And I just want to hear more about what that staffing looks like specifically at those learning centers.
Good evening, board members. I would be glad to tell you more once the budget is approved. However, we are in the planning phases of the Equity and Excellent Learning Centers, and we're just at the executive level planning in hopes that the budget will be approved for this initiative. But we're very excited to provide this program and have the wraparound services available for PB Young, Ruffner, Booker T, and Jaycox Elementary School. Planning process will include, as you said, multi-tier systems of supports in all of our schools. We currently have those programs available, but our goal is to extend the opportunity beyond the learning day. So the Equity and Excellent Learning Centers will have an after-school component and some Saturday components as well to support not only our students, but our families as well. It's a community effort.
Okay. Okay, and so the 1 million that is currently identified is sufficient to meet the needs that you have envisioned?
For phase one.
For phase one. Okay. Okay.
Yes, the program will be implemented phase one, year one, phase two, and phase three, and in hopes that we will be able to build upon for phase four, the fourth year of the program.
Okay, so it's over a 4-year.
Well, we hope that it's a program, a pilot program that will be successful to include more schools as we evaluate the progress of the program each year.
So you're saying phase one includes just these 4 schools and then to
Yes.
expand? Okay, so that's what, I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions?
I did.
Mr. Jordan?
Since Dr. White is there, for the 4 schools, the plan is for those schools to become full-service community schools? Or
community
the school as a whole?
concept, yes. Mm-hmm.
The school as a whole, okay. And the other question that I forgot earlier, with the, Ms. Spivey might be better, Dr. Birdsong, with the, with the funds that are in the city accounts. I know I've been hearing from city council about that there were some, that they're counting surplus funds. Do you know whether or not the surplus funds that the city manager is reporting that they have on the council side includes any of the money that we're dealing with tonight with reversion, or they just kind of have they're anticipating our request and that's already set aside and is not included in that? Okay. Is anyone aware?
Saw the meeting, yeah. Surplus at the.
But you don't know whether or not it includes any of this?
One clarification I will make is, and this was one of your, is, I think there was some something was stated about, because Norfolk Public Schools has been holding funds for a number of years, that that 32 million, anyway, that the reversion may include something that was held in a previous year or previous years as well. And I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I just want to clarify that this 32 million is an audited number that went back and looked at all the funds that Norfolk Public Schools holds that were technically the city's funds. And so there is no other, so it was all-encompassing.
Right. No, I think what you're referring to, I think maybe last year on a previous resolution, we had included 2 fiscal years, and that's what I was asking questions about that. But this one, I just wanted to, I was really just trying to get a sense of when the city manager is putting his budget together and he's looking at all the funds that are available to the city, whether or not, since this transfer had occurred, I was just trying to figure out whether or not they had already anticipated our request and have not included that in their surplus, or whether or not the school board funds are included in that surplus, because the council was having discussions around what to do with the surplus. And so I just was trying to see if there was any connection between these funds that we are requesting and the funds that they are counting as part of their surplus.
And I don't know for sure. I will tell you that the city budget director has seen what our surplus is. So, obviously because he's,
Right.
So.
But he's probably anticipating it coming. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I don't have any questions. I do, as the maker of the motion, do have a comment I'd like to make. In light of what Mr. Jordan was just stating about the surplus city, what it may be, this number and what the superintendent's presented to us from my perspective here are all things that are critical to the division, that are going to support. Maybe things that we didn't have in the budget there, but as I've stated before when we were talking about this and right-sizing Norfolk Public Schools, this provides us an opportunity to kind of make sure we don't have these reversion dollars left over. But I'm voting in favor of this because it definitely puts people in here. It's talked about infrastructure. And when I do have a question, I'm sorry, Dr. Birdsong, in there, was the building improvements. The 549,935. What's different from that from the CIP? That was the one I did have in there, and that just jumped back at me.
So Ms. Ivy might have to tackle that, but I do know we have in our operating funds, we always set aside additional funding for deferred maintenance. So that is probably what that is.
Perfect.
Because we've only asked for the 7.2 from the true up.
Got it.
Is that correct?
You're correct.
Definitely. And, and this has come up before, and I'm glad that we have a formula. I still think that we need to go back and revisit that. But for years, because this came up at another community meeting that I was at, deferred maintenance, I think it was about $3 million for capital improvement, not for a school, for the entire school division, was what was given in Norfolk Public Schools year after year after year. And we're finally now trying to catch up on that. And so I would hope that, with the vote and what the board sends over to council, that it is, this is an investment in public education and that those dollars stay as an investment in public education and that we can be able to use it for the benefit of public education in Norfolk. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Ms. Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine?
Aye.
Clanton?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Aye.
Jordan?
I'm going to be supportive of this, but I just want to restate my ongoing concern and something that Mr. Clanton just spoke to. I still believe that if the district has capital improvement needs, then we need to request the capital improvement dollars that are required. I don't like the process of saving resources by having a lack of staff in our buildings and then shifting that money to capital needs. I think we should be asking for both. I think if we have staffing needs, and that's why I was appreciative of what Ms. Spivey was saying about tightening the budget around what our true staffing needs are, I think that's important for us to know. And I also think it's important for us to know what the capital needs are and not use the resources that we've said to council that we need to improve instruction to then come back and use that for capital. Because I believe we allow, I want to say we allow our partners off the hook, but I do think we send a conflicting message to say that these are the resources that we need to see our students improve successfully. And then when we are unable to utilize them, to then come back and shift them to capital needs. So maybe the formula needs to be revisited. I'm proud of the work that many of us were able to do in the formula that has resulted in these additional resources. But I still have unreadiness around resources that really are intended to support students in the classroom ending up going to maintenance or capital needs because we can't seem to find a way to work with our partners to truly address our capital needs. And the funding formula even says in there is that, you know, if the board wanted to go to council and we voted on a tax increase, if that's what we felt was needed, I'd feel more comfortable for me personally, having the courage to go say that's what we need for our capital needs than to continue to shift resources that are intended to support, in my view, instruction in the classroom. But I'm going to vote in support of this, but I'll keep bringing this up. And I hope we get an opportunity in the summer to revisit our funding formula and make sure that we're getting the notices that we need to receive from council to as the funding formula calls for. So I do vote aye.
Martin?
Madam Chair, I'm going to respond to Mr. Jordan. I know that we like all other districts across the country have an employee shortage, and we're having, we've heard over and over again all the strategies that our administration is using to attract the brightest and to fill those positions that have been budgeted. Going into the school year, going into this current budget season, I have full faith that the administration had every intention of filling every one of those positions. We still have the same issue. So I don't think, I want to make sure that it is clear that it wasn't intended that the administration somehow didn't fill those positions only to fill the CIP coffer. That is absolutely not correct. But it's what I do like about the situation is that at least we get to use that money for something, and it gets to stay here with us. And so I want to thank City Council for allowing, for working with us on that. But, again, I just don't want to leave the impression that these monies were held because we definitely still need great teachers and administrators working with our students. Thank you. And I vote aye.
Stone?
No extra comments, aye.
Buffalo?
Aye. Okay, we have one final vote. May I have a motion to approve the FY 2024-2025 proposed operating and capital budgets in the total of $671,634,232.
I just want a point of clarity. I thought you said you were going to vote on these separately. Are you voting on this as a whole?
I was saying the vote on the resolution separately and then her total amount.
Perfect.
which I just stated.
like you just said, so-
Includes the operating, and it includes the capital budgets.
Great. So I move that we adopt the proposed FY 24-25 operating capital budgets.
May I have a second? Dr. Gabriel, second. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, as the maker of the motion, I'd like to speak first.
Okay.
Definitely, a lot of hard work has gone in this. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the alignment to the strategic plan and to all these different things here. But most importantly, does this budget reflect supporting the best needs of our students and teachers in the classroom? And I would say yes. And saying yes now is something that, again, as a board member, coming back to evaluate, is it moving student achievement? Is it moving in the right direction? Is it keeping teachers in the classroom, building morale in the division? There have been some things. I just wanted to clarify that in this motion that is included and that I'm supporting. One of those things I brought up was about the CTE high school feasibility study. I've fought years on this board about a feasibility study for Booker T. Washington High School. Feasibility studies allow us the opportunity to identify the academic programs and look at the physical structure and needs of the building before we move in that direction. We have had consultants who've already told us that we need to potentially close 10 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and a high school. And in this potential prospect with this budget also, it looks at also sending a clear message that we're going to need to shut down Madison, the second oldest building in this division, move that to Easton, return Coronado. We have a lot of real estate throughout this division, and as we know, as a city of Norfolk, we're landlocked. We need opportunities, and the communities are asking for that. And so I'm in support of this because I believe it's the right thing to do. And I will say this, Dr. Birdsong, I do believe that your team came with some bold ideas. And we're going to continue to look for more of those. And I look forward, Ms. Buffalo, I think in April, having this discussion about ed planning, whatever it looks like, right size in there. But I believe that the most important thing coming out of all of that is that this budget sends a message to our employees and staff members that we appreciate you, we value you. One of the biggest things that I have been touting around here is the fact that though the state needs to do its share, and I'm going to continue to push on that, it's not surplanting funds, but we're moving our starting salary for teachers to $57,500. National average is $57,800. That's a bold move as an urban school division, being challenging, getting individuals in the classroom, and it sends that we value you. We hear it all the time. Teachers, I'm not here for the money, but it's nice to know that you can take care of yourself because it pains me when I hear that a teacher has to take on part-time jobs or to do this just to make sure that they can come to work and work here in Norfolk. So, Dr. Birdsong, I commend your team and those who come together to put this here. I will point out, though, that I did look in this budget, and the only thing I will say, going back to this field trip thing, that there were some cuts in budget on field trips, but I believe that there's opportunity. And I saw, I got the numbers down here, but we'll come back to it. There were some slight cuts in field trips there, but I think that they were shifted around, but I'll find more clarity on that one. But if you are a community partner and you're watching this, definitely consider partnering with Norfolk Public Schools, anything that will help support the budget and giving enrichment opportunities for our students. So with that, I will be voting yes for this. It's a living document, so of course, if something comes up and comes back in there, superintendent and who we've charged with will come back to this board and appropriately ask us to do those things. But I'm in support of that, in support of all those things that I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clanton. Anyone else? Dr. Gabriel?
Thank you. For those here tonight and for those who are watching, the school board's budget is an extremely important piece of policy that the board projects out. It outlines our goals, our intentions, and where we see value. And I would like to commend Dr. Birdsong and your team on a very, what I will call holistic and prescriptive budget. Because as Mr. Clanton had said, it really puts emphasis on the individuals in the building that are taking care of our students each and every day. And that is where the rubber hits the road with teaching and learning. And we know now, in today's day and age, The teacher is in front of the students, but the teacher needs a whole lot of support. And her budget helps amplify that support for the teachers. We are adding social workers, we are adding specialists, we are putting more emphasis on training for individuals, and I feel that it does get at our strategic plan when it talks about our different pillars and where we want to see direct impact for student achievement. And student achievement across the board, for the rigorous, for those who need the assistance. There are a couple of points that I wanted to just highlight as to why I'm very excited and will be voting in favor of the budget. Number one is compensation, which Mr. Clanton has already touched on a little bit. But our teachers for a long time, especially those teachers who have been with the division for years and years and years, knew compression. And so there was a plan that was put into place that really tried to address, and I would say with very good intentions, to address the compression. And so many teachers, and as I've visited school, they are very appreciative of the additional steps that they are getting, well-deserved, that they hadn't gotten in the past. They do appreciate that. No increase in health insurance. Health insurance is big. If you go to any other division or other employers, that is part of your compensation package. It's salary and then benefits. Benefits is huge. And we, at Norfolk Public Schools, we are very, very good to our staff members with regards to the benefits. I'm going to transition to a different topic that has been, it's very small, but it definitely deserves mentioning. At many of our meetings, we have seen parents of students who attend the medical program at Blair, and they have asked for transportation for their children to attend the program. And year after year, we have asked, can we include this, can we include this? And we know that it's not just a money issue, it's really a, can we get a bus driver, and can we get the kids there? But this year, it's in the budget. Thank you so much, Dr. Birdsong, and your staff for arranging this. The people who started championing this effort, I hope that it will get back to you that it is here, and it's a long time coming, but it is here. So I just wanted to mention that. I also wanted to say that in honor of Music Month, as March as music and arts in our schools, your budget does do very well for music in our education. And when I see my patients in the office, I always ask them what's their most favorite part of the school day. And hands down, it's always PE, music and art class, one of those. I am starting to get some more math and reading, but hands down, it's recess, music, and art. And so I thank you for that. And congratulations to all of the schools who did the district assessments. They were exceptionally good. There are a couple of areas that in the budget do give me pause, but not enough to waver my support for it. And that's really at looking at the school board's budget. I have mentioned this before at our last work session. Right now we have $85,000 in organizational memberships. We have $100,000 right now in travel and conference expenses, and another $46,000 in governance training. And while I do support professional development, I think that I would feel more comfortable if it was more prescriptive, if it was targeted, if we had a goal in mind with it. And so I would encourage us, since these funds are going to be in the budget, to really look closely at what we're spending our money on. Are we getting the return on investment? Do we need this much every year? I know that for a building principal who's running an IB program or directing a STEM academy, the professional development for them can definitely go a long way. And they have to come back and report on what they do, and then they have to train the trainers. So that's the only area that gives me pause. Finally, I will say that we are challenged to advocate not just at a local level, but also at a state and a federal level for what the needs of our students and staff are. We are very, very behind in compensating our educators in general. And this was very clearly discussed when the Association of Superintendents came and gave a audit to the school division on human resources. We have to continue to advocate, not just when officials are running for election, but all year round, for what our teachers deserve and what they need, because we know that running our school division takes a whole lot more, which is why every year we have to do the raises and the COLAs and the compensation packages. So please, let's don't stop your advocacy at the local level. We need it at the state and the federal level as well. And that goes for building maintenance too, because right now, the only place that we are funded for building maintenance is the local level. And that's what I have to continue to share with Civic League meetings and others. The state doesn't provide funds for our buildings. We were very lucky that our team here sought out and got grants for Maury High School and Booker T. But had they not done that, we would not see funding from the state. So again, it falls on us to champion those efforts on behalf of our kids, the people who don't vote, who can't vote. We have to do that for them. So I'll be voting aye. It's a very, like I said, holistic yet prescriptive budget, and I'm looking forward to great progress towards student achievement. Thank you, Dr. Birdsong.
Anyone else? See?
Thank you, Mrs. Moore Buffalo. I also want to commend the administration for the hard work that has been put into crafting this budget. From trying to put into words, but you know, our school board has set ambitious yet crucial student outcomes focused goals, particularly in areas of literacy and closing the achievement gaps. And these goals reflect our commitment to providing every student with the opportunity to succeed regardless of their background or circumstances. Upon reviewing the budget, the proposed budget, and engaging in subsequent discussions, I still have some unreadiness around several aspects of the budget. First, while I wholeheartedly believe increasing teacher salaries is vital to the profession and to our retention and recruitment efforts, focusing primarily on teacher pay without also prioritizing greater resources and supports to enhance the teaching and learning environment and well-being of our students and staff is less likely to produce the level of positive student outcomes that we hope to achieve. And what I mean by that, I think we're making great strides, but what I'd like to see is differentiated pay increases and incentives which particularly benefit our harder to staff schools. I know this is a great start with our Ignite program and the efforts that we're putting at the Equity and Excellence Learning Centers, but I also think about schools like Chesterfield Academy and Coleman Place that has also seen low teacher fill rates, and seeing the progress that we have seen at Lindenwood with going from, I think, 64% to 87% teacher fill rate. I feel that I understand the time aspect and wanting to see what impact that has, but I feel like time is not on our side and not on our students' side. So I would like to see greater effort, if possible, to see some differentiated pay for our teachers at other schools in addition to the ones that have already been identified. I also would like to see differentiated pay for our hard-to-staff grade levels as well as content areas. And as most of you know, I've been a champion for the whole child, and I know this budget does reflect advancements in that area. But for me, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more social workers and school psychologists, and to provide those supports to help our teachers, our substitutes, and our administrators. And finally, one of my other concerns is around the impact of the expiration of the pandemic relief funds and what impact that has on the operating budget, not just today, but going forward. And that's something that I still feel like I don't have as clear of an understanding on. So for today, I am not going to support the budget, but I do appreciate the work going forward, and I look forward to working collaboratively with my colleagues and the administration to work toward allocating resources to achieve our goals. So thank you.
Is there anyone else? Miss Long Night, Miss Tanner, please call the roll.
Basine?
Nay.
Clanton?
Aye.
Gabriel?
Aye.
Jordan?
Nay.
Martin?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
Buffalo?
Aye. All right, we're going to move to our very last agenda item. I just want to quickly, with 5.04 progress monitoring, the administration has provided us interim goals and information for the for Goal 5 and the non-negotiables. I just want to make sure that the board saw these interim measures, can come to some agreement that this is what we're going to monitor moving forward. So I'm just going to open the floor if anyone has any questions.
Oh, you're doing it. Okay.
The other one up there, Karen.
Concerns around this. So this both were in your packets, and I'm going to open it up for discussion.
Let me log back in. It kicked me out.
Just, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just for clarity, you're starting with the goals,
Let's start with
the
Goal 5.
Advanced Studies Diploma.
Yes, Goal 5.
I do have a ongoing question, just for clarity, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I'll give Dr. Pohl a chance to catch up.
This board docs keeps dying.
Keep shutting it down.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay.
On the as we deal with the Advanced Studies Diploma, can you just remind me again, underneath the tables, you show data including student passing in a variety of courses. And I still just want to make sure I'm clear. These are, can you explain the ors versus the ands, how this works?
Sure. So the current first-year high school student, if they have passed at the end of the year, either their first credit-bearing math course, like Algebra 1, or geometry, because they would have taken one in middle school already, then that says math-wise, they're on track for an Advanced Studies Diploma. They can only get their first English course because you can't take English for a high school credit at the middle school level. You can only take Health and PE 9 in 9th grade, so it has to be through 9th grade. Science, they could come in with a science credit already from middle school, or they could be taking their first science credit. So in either of those cases, they would be on track. Same with a foreign language. They could take a level 1 foreign language in middle school, or it could be their level 1 language as a 9th grader, where we would say they're on track for the Advanced Studies Diploma. Same with history. In Norfolk, we offer a history credit-bearing course at the middle school level. So that's what the or is, Mr. Jordan, is just signifying that students could come in with that credit already, but if they don't, as long as they pass it in their 9th grade year, they're still going to be on track for the Advanced Studies Diploma.
And then as we move forward throughout the years, what's the number that would, when we talk about the pipeline beyond the current 9th grade cohort, is there something in here that would give us an indication how we are building students into the pipeline, or does that fall someplace else?
So I think based on the way that we've laid out how we're collecting the data on credits would show how students are falling into the pipeline, as you say it. So end of their second year, if they have the 2 credits that they need, let's say there was a second year student, a sophomore as we call them, who was unsuccessful in English. At that point right then, they're at risk of not getting an advanced studies because they're at risk of not graduating on time unless we catch them back up in that summer program. So, that's one way. Another one that we've talked about, or I've talked about with the board, is a foreign language. If by the end of sophomore year, a student hadn't taken a foreign language, they have really limited themselves unless we can find a summer opportunity for them to take a language course, which is a rare opportunity to have, because most of them are asynchronous, and you can't really start a language with an asynchronous course. So I think tracking it this way, we think tracking it this way is the best way to see who is still in that pipeline of getting an advanced study as they go through year after year. And this is also, this year with scheduling, we've worked with school counselors more on the advanced studies diploma and the requirements, and reminding them to work with parents and students to take the more difficult courses and to challenge themselves even more.
And to the last question, and then to the best of your knowledge, and might be something you have to come back and speak to later, the courses that students need in order to move forward towards the advanced diploma, including electives, each of our high school provides at least the minimum same core
Ample
opportunities.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any other questions around Go 5?
Thank you, Dr. Pohl, for being willing to continue to answer some questions around this. Of course, as we have these discussions, I get feedback from some of our administrators at the high school level, and one of the thoughts one of the pieces of feedback that was shared with me was to consider those that graduate early and what trends we're seeing around that, and that with this desire of not only students and families to graduate early, how might that impact what we see in the data that we receive here?
So they would still be included in their cohort.
They would be, okay.
Their cohort graduation if they graduate early, and if they got an advanced studies, they would be, that would be note in the data that we would
So
see.
they can graduate early and still get that advanced
Sure,
study?
absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other
Yeah, we do.
questions? All right, then we'll move on to the non-negotiables and the progress measures that are here. I'm going to open the floor up for any questions around this. So again, so we can be clear on what we're going to monitor moving forward. So does anyone have any questions?
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Jordan?
Yeah, so I know we have particular targets that we're looking at. The general sense that I think we need to give attention to at this phase is, the board established the non-negotiables, and the intent here is to just try to see to what extent we feel that the progress measures that are being recommended align with the intent that the board had in mind with the non-negotiables. And if we see that we see that, then we're good. If we see that maybe we need some more, then the administration still has an opportunity to make any adjustments. But kind of what we've talked about quite a bit, the key thing here is just trying to make sure, are we clear in communicating what our expectations are, and do we feel comfortable that what the administration is recommending aligns with that? So I just wanted to put that out there. But other than that, if Dr. Pohl gets the opportunity to walk us through it, then appreciate
You can do that,
Walk
yeah.
through it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first non-negotiable was around the curriculum and instruction not aligned to the standards, inclusive, challenging, culturally linguistic. So the two measures we have there, one focus on classroom feedback and ensuring that our teachers are getting classroom feedback as our principals are coached on giving feedback. And we talk about that throughout the process, and our executive directors and Dr. Kimsey monitor that as well. So, knowing that they're getting the feedback and that it's aligned is a big part of knowing that our instruction's aligned. The second part is knowing that our professional development is aligned to our teachers' needs. If they're saying it's not aligned to what I need to be able to teach, then I think we're not meeting that non-negotiable, or we think. So those were our two measures for this non-negotiable to make sure that we're meeting that non-negotiable.
Or Buffalo.
Ms. Basine?
Thank you, Dr. Pohl. So regarding this particular one, I know, if I'm not mistaken, that we are in the midst of a curriculum audit. Is that, no?
No,
Oh, okay.
we've done our audits.
You've done it, okay. So are those some things that came, I guess, so that's my, I guess the point. Are these measures some things that came out of that audit, or recommendations, or?
So alignment, alignment comes out of the audit, and a lot of what was similar in the audits was around alignment of instruction, and that comes to the variety level of experience that we have in our classrooms right now, from daily subs, long-term subs, first-year teachers, highly veteran teachers, alignments there. And that's why that measure number 1 is important, as well as the measure 2 as far as looking at the professional development for our teachers, which is where even now in doing our professional development planning for next year, we're talking about expanding upon what we've done this semester, where we're doing a long-term substitute series of professional development on Saturdays, where we're paying the long-term subs to come in to get instructional methodology and pedagogy, as well as content on Saturdays. And we've had I think 30 show up each Saturday to come in, which may not seem like a lot, but it's a good start. And next year we're going to continue that process, as well as have additional opportunities for first-year teachers and additional opportunities for teachers who are provisionally licensed, to make sure that we're meeting that goal.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Jordan?
Can you give me a sense? I know that on both of these measures, it speaks to quantitative. Is there anything that was considered, or something that we could look at that would speak to the qualitative piece that ties back to the non-negotiable? So, for example, I know you mentioned on progress measure 1 that really we're measuring or getting feedback on the percentage of teachers receiving instructional classroom feedback, but are there certain types of feedback that, feedback is rather broad to me, so I was trying to figure out, is there something that we would hone on, or a particular strategy, or something that may come up as part of the presentation to us that we would hone in on to know that yes, there's feedback, but there's also, I don't know if it's feedback around a particular topic when we talk about culturally and linguistically responsive. Is it something particular around that? I mean, what would we be able to get a sense of the qualitative nature of the feedback from these progress measures?
So I think similar to the school board goals, it would come out in the reporting, Mr. Jordan. On the school board goals, we have interim measures with tables of data, but where you get the meat of it is when we report out, where we talk about what's not going well, what is going well, what are next steps. One of the things I'd like to point out in this progress measure is we talk specifically about instructional classroom feedback, not just general classroom feedback. And the instructional classroom feedback talks about the pacing, talks about the alignment, talks about the pedagogy, talks about small group instruction, and we have laid out specific even classroom walkthrough forms for our administrators to use, and for us to use when we're in schools, to be looking for specific areas, and with a high level of focus on literacy, that's one of the 3 large focus areas that Dr. Birdsong set forth for us this year.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to...
Chair,
Oh, I'm sorry.
are you about to adjourn?
Well, I'm going to give Ms. Jackson an opportunity if she wants to share anything with us. No comments? Okay.
I did have one personal privilege, if I could. It's not going to be long, it's going to be real quick.
Yes, Mr. Clanton.
Don't put the timer on, I'm sorry, I'll be shorter than that one. I just wanted to, especially from this particular board member, Kelsey is that person sitting all the way in the corner. We're embarrassing her, but she has been our pilot reporter covering education for a while. I know she sent out an email this week that this was going to be her last week. But she's staying in the area, because I mean, we've talked about you like the beach and everything else in the area. But I just want to say personally, thank you, Kelsey, for providing fair and balanced reporting for Norfolk Public Schools for your time here and trying to get it right about the work that we do here. And so I just want to take this time before we adjourn and before you move on to your next role to say thank you. And thank you on behalf of myself, my colleagues, and all of Norfolk Public Schools.
Look on her face, she wasn't expecting that, Mr. Clanton.
They didn't pay me for it.
Okay, so moving forward, we know we have spring break coming in 1 week. Woohoo! So
Y'all
please, excited, get some R&R, and because we're about to embark on the last quarter of the school year. So with that said, be looking for an email from me going forward with next steps and all that good stuff. And everyone have a good night. This meeting is adjourned.